9397 Network and Hot 9397 presents Sapphire'S Soup du Jour with Just Bob, stirring the pot and serving the latest soup. Brought to you by Haylove Saloon, Adam's Apple, Janet'sCloset.com, and Janet'sDungeon.com.
Souls at rest, but it's hard to digest the sound of the hole in your chest.
Friday.
Up in here, y'all gonna make me go all out. Up in here, y'all gonna make me act a fool.
In the
What's good,
article,
family? It's
it was
Cujo Speaks.
WHO.
If you haven't downloaded our app, download it today. 9397
Good
Network,
morning,
man. Take us everywhere you
Joe.
go. Take
All
us
right,
to
here we
work,
go.
in your car, home, gym, you name it. You can request songs, send me direct messages, follow all my social outlets, and stay up to date with the
Today
show.
is We
Search
Say Gay
9397
Day.
Network in your app
We're not
store
going to go
today.
gay.
You're
though.
listening
This
to
ain't no Howard Stern show.
WHOT Hot 9397.
Initiating
Speaking of
launch
big,
sequence.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tony from Big T's.
We have a liftoff.
It's been a while since we heard the intro. Good morning on a Friday. See, Fridays are going to be fun because it's going to be some controversial talk. Like today, we're talking, I'm transgender, we're talking about the work to do.
Good morning.
Sip on my coffee.
Good morning, sun. Good morning, door. Good morning, wall. Good morning, floor. I want to say good morning, more. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, window. Let me see. Good morning, flower. Hello, tree. Good morning, street. Do you hear me? Good morning. Good morning. Your slippers say good morning. Toes and body say good morning.
All right, it is Friday. Good, happy morning to everybody. Hopefully you're waking up well. Hopefully you're waking up. Friday morning. I can't believe this is the first week back already. Already over with. And it feels just like we've never even gone away. So it's been nice. We're back. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on WHOT Hot 9397. Just Bob will be joining us later. We got a lot of things to talk about. Like always, we talk about a lot of things. But if you've noticed the last 2 days, we've stuck to topics a little bit more. And it's a little bit more in-depth conversation. So we're not a newsreel just shooting out stories, right? We want to talk about things in between, right? Let me get on my trusty headphones. Not that one. You'd think I'd invest in a set of headphones. I think these were 99 cents. Either one's working. You get what you pay for. You know what I mean? Oh, Friday morning. Kanye West. We're going to start right off, right from the hip. But this time Kanye's in the news, but it's not so much him. He's looking out for, the mama of his kids, baby mama. Is that appropriate to say? Because I know there's baby daddy, but is there baby mama? Derek says, really weird hearing myself. You talk about many things that go in between. Well, I'll talk about things that go in between, all right, but that's a whole nother story. Let me see, which one's on my... there we go. See, I got to make sure I got the volumes correct here. There we go. That's a little bit more soothing to the ear. You got to hear it, but you don't want to hear it too loud. The background music I'm talking about, because you got to hear what I'm saying. So today we're going to be talking about We Say Gay. We're going to break that down a little bit too before we get into it, because it's a little play on the Don't Say Gay thing in Florida. But we're going to talk about that. Also, it's a new segment. Hopefully, Bob's listening. I doubt he is because he's probably on the toilet right now. But a new segment we're doing every Friday called What Would You Do If? And he is going to ask me and you, what would we do if such and such happened? Pretty simple stuff, right? There's an actual game that's played that you play, and it's kind of fun. It's more of an adult beverage game, but you write down a question, what would you do if, and you can abbreviate it WWYDI, right? What would you do if? Like, what would Jesus do? But what would you do? And it's not what would you do if you were Jesus. Everything that should be done was done, I'm sure. It's more about this. So you write down what would you do if, and you ask a question. And everybody puts the papers in the middle of the table. Then you randomly grab a paper and you answer the question that you get. Then you put it back in the middle. Then they're randomly grabbed, and I would read my question. What would you do if pigs flew? Then the person to my right would answer their answer to my question. Sometimes it's a flop. Other times it's absolutely hilarious. And if it was freaking hilarious, then that would be even more funny than regular. And if you listened on Wednesday, you know we broke down what cities cuss the most, and Columbus, Ohio came in number 1. Yeah. Okay, so Kanye, let's get started. Kanye in the news, looking out for his significant or former significant other. And it's kind of, there's a couple of weird things to this story for me. It was, for me, divorce. Well, here, let's listen to what he had to say.
You know, Kim is a Christian, but she has people who want her to go to Interview Magazine and put her ass out while she's a 40-something-year-old multi-billionaire.
Okay, well, I'm 40-something, I'm 50-something, and I put my ass out
with 4 black children. And this is how fashion wants to, how they want to present her. The media ridiculed me for getting the house next door to Kim to see my children. And they even...
Okay. See, to me, divorce is more like, hey, let's separate and start anew. But I understand there's children involved, so you never know someone's intentions anyway.
Said that I was stalking her and her new boyfriend because I bought the house next door to see my children. And that's how I knew that my mom had said that. No one ever knew where Corey Gamble came from. No one in the fashion world knows where Gabby came from.
Anyway, we don't need to listen to the whole thing, but that was on Fox News. That was on Tucker Carlson's show, right? So he's saying that she's being pimped out by the fashion industry. So Kanye looking out for her. Maybe, just maybe, he's onto something there. But don't we all pimp ourselves out a little? Didn't we talk about Kanye or Ye? I don't mean to disrespect the man. I mean, I think he's crazy, but I also don't mean that in a clinical way. Okay, so don't get on me about this mental health thing, and we could do a whole show on that. We could do a whole show. We're not even going to bother with it. Let's get back to the background music here. We're not even going to bother trying. But D checking in from, I hope you're doing good down there. Thank you for checking in from Orlando. And D says, good morning. He should not have bought the house right next door. Very odd. See, I agree, D. I agree because I think a lot of it has to do with how it looks. And I understand that how it looks should not matter. I know D just says meh. I hear you. We all love you. So, I would not buy the house next door. It seems odd. I think that's a good word for it. I don't like it. It's just like, I understand you say, well, I want to raise the children. You're a billionaire. You couldn't have lived a block away. You couldn't have, at least not within eyesight, maybe, right? Maybe it's we need to live not quite in eyesight of one another. I at least have to walk a block or two to get to the house. That would be me. But even then, live across town. You're a billionaire, right? It's not like you live down the street on, I don't even know anything about the area. I've never been to LA or in Hollywood or wherever they lived, but I don't imagine it's down in the city where it's congested rush hour, right? And I just don't get it. So, good old Kanye. He's an interesting we talked the other day about his brand going under fire for the controversial shirts that he made. I won't even go back into what they said and everything. You can look it up for yourself if you're not sure. Not part of the really important part of the story. So, oh my goodness. Let's see. He sat down. It was an interesting conversation because he sat down with Tucker Carlson, and you wouldn't think, well, actually, you know what? He did kind of support Trump, and Trump's kind of on the Fox News team thing there where they kind of more cater to him than try to get him. And it's just a weird thing. Oh, Lordy, Lordy. Friday morning. All right, we got Bill checking in. So here's the people. I keep interrupting my conversation, saying good morning to people. You can hit us up. The easiest way to hit us up is however you're listening, right, or viewing. We are live on the air on 9397network.com. We are on the app for the savvy ones who got your phone, 9397 Network. You go on the app, you hit listen now. It's real simple. Once you're listening, you can back out of that and you can go into our social network and say hello. All you got to do is say, hey. You can join in the conversation. You can just say hello. However you work it, if you get your name on that board, you're eligible to win prizes. It might be a T-shirt. It might be my speeding ticket on my way home the other day. You won't win that. I wouldn't send that to you. But I could give my Cash App out if I wanted to. That's, to me, see, I'm old school. I can't do that, right? So Bill's checking in on our live stream. We're live streaming on all of our social medias. We're on the network's Twitter. We're on the network's YouTube. We're on the network's Facebook. We're on Sapphire'S Soup du Jour Facebook. We're on Sapphire Pates' Facebook. If you want to see us and hear us, you can do it. But the best way is to get on the app. 9397 Network app. It gives you all the access to everything you need, and it's just a finger touch away. So Bill says, welcome back to the air. Going to drop you on the phone while I'm running this morning. It's been too long. Really would love to talk soon. Well, Bill, I'd love to talk to you too. And we will. And I appreciate you listening while you're out on your morning run. See? Doesn't matter. You can listen all the time. That's the beauty. It's not like it used to be. Radio's not like it used to be. It used to be you turn the dial. Now, a lot of people don't remember you would literally take, when we were kids, we would listen to our favorite radio station, whatever music you loved, and you would take your cassette tape and you would have it on record and pause. And as soon as the DJ played the song, said, okay, up next is insert band here. Boom, you'd hit record, you'd hit the pause button off so that it would record. You'd make your own playlist that way, right? And then once you played your playlist over and over, the cassette tape would get loose. So what did you do with the number 2 pencil, right? You would take the number 2 pencil and you would have to stick it in the little groove because it was the little gear type thing in the middle. There was 2 of them. It was like tweaking nipples. And you turn it so that it would tighten. The Bradley James Michael Molly II says, my parents told me about those times. Yeah, you're a wise guy, aren't you? So that's how you would tighten the tape back up, or else it would start going slower. Like with CD, which some people are going, what's a CD? Right? And they go, it's a certificate of deposit. Silly. No, bitch, we used to play music on them. Right? You can still do it. You get a CD, and but now it's all digital. Right? You just download it for 99 cents, or you can buy the album. You don't even have to have it. But the problem is you're missing out on the artwork. Right? That's what it was all about, the artwork. So anyway, I digress on a Friday. Oh, we got let's see here. We got messages coming in, but once again, that's how you get a hold of us on all these new devices, right? If you're not tech savvy, have your grandson or your granddaughter or your son or daughter help you out. It's real simple. It's funny how the guys can find the Grinder app, right? But when you tell them about 93.97 network, they act stupid. Like, what? Huh? Duh? Huh? And you're like, no, dumb. It's real simple. 9397 network. And then you can get on and chew me out for being a bitch. But it's not the way. I know I'm sipping coffee like a trucker and everything. I don't care. It's Friday. I can do what I want. We're going to pronounce the L in salmon for the whole weekend. So it's salmon until Monday at 6 a.m. Broken tapes fixed with Scotch tape and a razor. Bill Pittman, that's correct. We used to edit tapes that way with a razor blade and Scotch tape. I'm not kidding you. I almost swore again. I crap you not. That's how I used to edit. Ask anybody that used to be in radio back in the day. It wasn't this easy back in the day, right? Couple buttons here, couple buttons there. Not so much, Mary. It was a lot different back then. And you imagine back when you had to change the cassette and the cassette didn't work and the tape snapped and you're just like, oh, you know what? I don't get paid enough for this. And the guy said, we don't pay you for this. Are you kidding me? Oh, I love it. All right, let's see here. What, there's never. All right, Coolio passed away. I understand I might be more traditional. Maybe I'm more used to the the burial. And I understand cremation. I understand that. And I believe I'm going to be cremated when I go. Because I ain't going to have somebody put my face on, looking a hot mess, worse than usual, right? I know how it goes. One of these queens that really just doesn't like me, but says they do. I'll paint a bitch for her funeral, and I'll end up looking like 3 shades of crazy. Worse than normal. No, thank you. Yeah. So, but Coolio, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter how he passed, but a 59-year-old man in midlife, and hopefully it was nothing, self-indulgent or whatever, without trying to speculate it. It doesn't matter. It's sad. We deal with these things in life, and we need to understand we can't judge what people do, right? But according to the death certificate obtained, Coolio's body has already been cremated, right? And that's what prompted his 7 children, right? And they're all at least young adults, but they all look to be at least in their 20s, maybe even one maybe 30. Okay. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but they're young adults, right? So they've come up with an idea for some special bling, some special jewelry to keep Coolio close to them. Each of the children will get a pendant to hold the ashes along with a necklace. And that's not unheard of, right? But then there's the religious part too. Do you separate? If you're a Christian and if you're Catholic, I believe the belief is, and I could be wrong, I believe the belief is that you go back in whole, right? And I believe that either a burial or a cremation and an urn laid to rest is the correct procedure for that belief system. Everybody's different. When my sister passed away in 2001 at 30 years old from breast cancer, and I'll just say this, I don't need ahs and ahs. It's sad. Of course it is. We all know someone who passed away from it. It's about awareness. It's about, even though you are not in the normal stereotypical category and age bracket, it's still worth a look. And we don't know what happened with Coolio. We don't know. It doesn't matter. But it's just, we all had a urn of a little bit of my sister. And then my brother, who's more religious than the rest of us, said, but this doesn't sit good with us. And my sister was Christian. So we go, She needs to be laid to rest properly, according to the religion that she believed in, not that we believe in, right? So we all turned in our urns and put her back as one. So depending upon what you believe in, there's no wrong way of doing things. Some people want their ashes to be strewn out over the sea so they can go back to nature. Or maybe your favorite part, you used to walk on a bridge over a lake or something, or over a stream, and it was your beautiful little resting spot. Maybe there's a bench somewhere where you used to sit and think, and you go, you know what? This is where I want to spend eternity. Because really, your soul is different than your body, right? We don't take this with us. It's a meat suit, according to some people. Freaking meat suit. Not like Lady Gaga's meat suit, but similar. Yeah. So they're going to all have a customized inscription for their jewelry, right? And the rest of Coolio's ashes will go into an urn once all the necklaces are distributed. I mean, to each their own. You know, I know my Uncle Mike, he's passed away for some time now. He used to joke about it back in the 80s. Say, when I die, I want my ashes to be part of the toilet seat, you know, and so y'all could, you get the idea. But just, we don't like to think about that, right? We don't like to think about death and when it actually comes and stuff like that. But if we do truly in our heart acknowledge that we are dying, we live different, baby. I'm telling you. And we've all experienced, even if it's an elder person, if you haven't, you will, right? Death. And it is humbling. It is something that really puts things into perspective. And if we lived that way, put it this way, if we lived like we did on September 12th, 2001, this world would be freaking amazing. Because I'll tell you something, as beautiful as this country is, we're to blame for a lot of the bull beep that's going on, right? So if we all lived individually, and we've talked about, if you're new listening to the show, thank you very much. If you've been listening, thank you very much. We don't do the whole give the new guy the discount and stick it to the old customer, right? So we don't do that. We thank everybody equally. None of you are getting anything for listening to this other than useless information, right? That's it. So maybe a T-shirt here and there, or maybe something like that. But yeah, you're not changing tax brackets from listening to this show. We are not trying to help you with that. We're just trying to get you through your morning proper. Right, a little bit different way. Millionaire, billionaire, doesn't matter. We're all the same. Now they're talking. See, I'm looking at this Kanye thing and Coolio thing, and they just go on and on about stuff. But back to the Coolio thing. I think it's kind of nice to have something like that, but I have a problem personally. I don't think it's wrong. But I wouldn't want the ashes, right? I don't want them. And it's not to be mean. I don't want them. Like, I got the memories. I don't need your burnt flesh. And I don't mean to be crude, but that's just me. Other people go, yeah, but I've got a part of my person with me now. I can dig it. But just not for me. Nope. All right, so 7:25. All right, we're not gonna take a break yet. It's too soon for a break. It doesn't feel like break time. You know, there's a lot of reasons. This is one of those, we could save this for Monday, but we didn't even do poor life choices on Monday. This would qualify for a very multiple poor life choice, right? And I don't even know. Let's see. Are these in alphabetical order? Yes.
Or life choices.
Career tip. Don't apply for a job with the sheriff's office if you're a fugitive from justice. See, the poor life choice is being a fugitive, committing the crime, being wanted for a crime. There's the poor life choice. Alleged, not convicted yet. The karma is the job application. But how, for lack of a better term, how stupid can you be? Jersey City, she makes herself quite easy to find. Zayama Johnson, 27 years old. Zayama, Z-Y-E-A-M-A. Zayama, I don't know. I don't mean to disrespect her. Arrested in the Hudson County by the sheriffs for outstanding warrants. Wasn't picked up for speeding. It wasn't a traffic accident. It wasn't a freak thing. She applied for a job, not only as a deputy, not to run the jail, not to go patrol. The agency that specializes in picking up people with outstanding warrants.
Numbnuts.
Thank you. Charged with being a fugitive from justice on Tuesday. Wanted for failure to appear in court on charges of fraud and 10 bench warrants for failure to appear in court on traffic charges. And I'm sure her defense is going to be, drum roll please, if I had a job, I'd pay my fines. There you go. That's when the judge needs to take the gavel and just throw it like a teacher used to hit you with the eraser. See? I mean, so can you imagine how this played out? Like the person looking at the applications and they go, two things could have happened. One, they go, this name looks familiar. I was just looking at our warrant list. But how you wouldn't run through that's got to be pages long. You apply for the job, they do a background check. You're going to fail the background check. Then you're still going to get called in for the interview. Jesus, man, oh man. Yeah, you got that right. Nope. Yeah. Unbelievable. All right. Let's see. Where are we here? No, we're not going to break yet. We're going to, let me find national days. We're going to find out what national day it is today before we go to break. Doesn't take long because I'm really whip on all this stuff. Right. And plus, you got all day. Right. What are you doing? You're sitting at your work desk right now, or you're sitting in a lecture in your college listening to me instead of your professor going blah, blah, blah. And you're getting more out of this, believe me. And you'll still graduate and you'll still get a job. And no matter how hard you work, the person who does less will get more. No, I'm just kidding. That's not how it works in all the worlds. What's the date today? Today is Friday, October 7th. Ooh, it's World Smile Day today. First Friday in October is National World Smile. Can't be National World Smile Day. What the hell is that? That's like a Department of Redundancy Department. World Smile Day. It's also National Inner Beauty Day. And those can blend in together, right? You know how people, and especially it's when they pass away, when they go, they lit up the room. They were always such a shining light and everything. But did they know that they were that important in your life? Did you ever tell them that when they were alive? Today's the day. And that's for inner beauty. There's nothing better than having the confidence of knowing that you feel right. You look right. You feel right. You just got out of the shower. You got your new underwear on. You got a clean bra. Even the guys that are wearing them, and you got your pants. Everything. You feel good. Remember the first day of school when everything's new, your new book bag, all your fashion. You're getting ready to go. You're nervous, but you're excited. That's inner beauty. being able to embrace it. And it's sad that we seem to be lacking in said inner beauty. Seeing it in ourselves is hard because it's conceit, right? It's well, aren't they full of themselves? There's that, but I would rather you be full of yourself than the one we talked about 2 years ago, or maybe more, about the homeless person living on the street wanting to blend into society, into the background and not be seen. That's not normal. There's defeat. It's sad. It's like looking at a puppy's eyes that when you see the dog rescues and it just breaks your heart. But we do that. And the homeless person that's sitting there going, I just want to blend in and not be seen by anybody walking by, looking, whispering. I just want to be behind the tree. I just want to be part of the tree. Let me melt into the grass. That's not right. That's not what we're here for. That's not inner beauty. And today, we don't even take the time to smile at people. I do. And I get looked at like I'm crazy, but they probably think I want to go pee with their kid in the bathroom. But we're going to talk about that later, too. Good lead in, wasn't it? All right. We're going to break this time for reals. When we get back, we're going to start talking about a little bit about the thing about the transgenders in the bathrooms, the politics, the sports, the school, the children, all that, and what we really should worry about, right? And it is an issue. It is an issue. We can't sit here and say it's not. If you do, you're fooling yourself. The thing is to properly educate everyone in many ways about how to handle it. You don't have to accept me. You don't have to like me. But we can't tread on each other either, right? We're going to break. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. Keep it locked.
Hey guys, you already know we're here chilling with Sapphire on Sapphire'S Soup du Jour, only in the morning. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
All right, now we got salt break.
Regulators. We regulate any stealing of his property. We're damn good, too. But you can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean. Earn your keep.
Regulators! Mount up.
It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. G was on the streets, trying to consume some skirts for the E, so I could get some fun. Rolling in my ride, chilling all alone.
Just hit the east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G. Seen a car full of girls, ain't no need to tweak. All you search know what's up with 213.
So I hit some left on 21 and Lewis. Some brothers shooting dice, so I said, let's do this. I jumped out the rock and said, what's up? Some brothers pulled some gas, so I said, I'm stuck.
These girls peeping me, I'm on glide and swerve. These suckers looking so hard, they straight hit the curve. Want to bigger, better things than some horny tricks. I see my homie and some suckers all in his mix.
I'm getting jacked, I'm breaking myself. I can't believe they taking Warren's wealth. They took my rings, they took my Rolex. I looked at the brother, said, damn, what's next?
They got my homie hemmed up and they all around. Can't no see him if they going straight down for pound. They wanna come up real quick before they start to clown. I best pull out my strap and lay them busters down.
They got guns to my head, I think I'm going down. I can't believe it's happening in my own town. If I had wings, I would fly, let me contemplate. I glance in the cut and I see my homie Nate.
16 in the clip and 1 in the hole. Nate Dogg is about to make some bodies turn cold. Now they dropping and yelling, it's a tad bit late. Nate Dogg and Warren G had to regulate.
This mental illness thing. I know it's a thing. So let me tell you, y'all, everyone, even the people that treat mental illness have a form of mental illness.
I laid all them busters down, I let my gat explode. Now I'm switching my mind back into freak mode. If you won't skirt, sit back and observe. I just left a gang of those over there on the curb.
Now they got the freaks, and that's a known fact. Before I got jacked, I was on the same track. Back up, cause it's on N-A-T-E and me, the one to the G.
Just like I thought, they were in the same spot, in need of some desperate help. The A-Dog and the G-Child were in need of something. One of them James was sexy as hell. I said, ooh, I like your size. She said my chords broke down and just seemed real nice. Would you let me ride? I got a car full of girls and it's going real swell. The next stop is the East Side Motel.
I'm tweaking into a whole new era. G-Funk, step to this, I dare ya. Funk on a whole new level.
The rhythm is the bass and the bass is the treble.
Chords, strings, we brains, melody. G-Funk, rhythm is life, and life is rhythm.
If you know like I know, you don't want to step to this. It's the G-Funk era, funked out with a gangster twist. If you smoke like I smoke, then you high like every day. And if your ass is a buster, 213 will regulate.
It's the one and only Eagle Double G. You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
You know the West Coast is backbone. You sucker. Put something in there. Put it in there. Yeah.
Top dog, bite them all. Yeah, I'm burning it up. DPGC, you should be turning it up. CBT, LBC, yeah, we hooking back up. And when they bang this in the club, baby, you got to get up. Cause all these stuff, homies, yeah, they giving it up. One low lot, yo lot, boy, we living it up. Taking chances while we dancing in the party for show. Slip my girl up. When she crept in the back door, chickens looking at me strange, but you know I don't care. I step up in the smoker, just a swing in my hand. Trick, quick talking, quick walk if you down with the set. Take up with some grip and take this on the jab. Out of town, put it down for the father of rap. And if you happen to get cracked, trick, shut your trap. Come back, get back, that's the part of success. If you believe in the S, you'll be relieving your stress.
It's the one and only D.R.E. Dr. Brain Love. You know I'm mobbing with the D.O.G. Straight out the killer streets of CPT. King of the beach, you ride to him in your fleet. Whoa, shoot the field, rolling on dubs. How you feel? Whoop-de-whoop. What? Dre and Snoop hitting colors in the lag. With Doc in the back, sipping on yak. Clipping all the amps, clipping through Hood, Compton, Long Beach, Inglewood, South Central out to the west side. It's California love, it's California. Got your boy a king of pub. I'm on one, I might bell up in the Century Club with my jeans on and my team strong. Get my drink on and my smoke on, then go home with something to poke on. Locust song for the 200. Coming real, it's the next episode.
Hold up. Hey, woman, see we thinking we saw. We don't play. We gon' rock it till the wheels fall off. Hold up. Wait, woman, see we acting too bold. Take a seat. Hope you're ready for the next episode. Hey. Sucks to be. That's given all these criminal activities, names, excuses, and all that. Yeah. I'm sorry. That doesn't mean that you're standing a bunch of people in place. That doesn't mean you're standing on the street. Coming at
you. Doggy dog. Need to get a jobby job.
I'm serious, nigga. What y'all think about
With so much drama in the LBC, it's kind of hard being Snoop D or Double G, but I somehow, some way keep coming up with funky ass like every single day. May I kick a little something for the G's and make a few wins as I bridge through 2 in the morning and the party still jumping cause my mama ain't home. I got bitches in the living room getting it on and they ain't leave till 6 in the morning. So what you wanna do? I got a pocket full of rubbers and my homeboys do too. So turn off the lights and close the doors. But for what? We don't love the party. Yeah. So we gon' smoke an ounce to this. G's up, hoes down, while you motherfuckers bounce to this. Rolling down the street, smoking down, sipping on gin and juice. Laid back. With my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Rolling down the street, smoking down, sipping on gin and juice. Laid back. With my mind on my money and my money on my mind. I got me some Seagram's jeans. Everybody got their cups, but they ain't chipped in. Now this type of shit happens all the time. You gotta get yours, but fool, I gotta get mine. Everything is fine when you're listening to the D.O.G. I got the cultivating music that be captivating me. Who listens to the words that I speak as I take me a drink to the middle of the street and get to mackin' to this bitch named Shay. She used to be the homeboy's lady. Oh, that bitch 80 degrees. When I tell that bitch, please raise up off these NUTs, cause you get none of these at ease. As I mob with the dog pound filled with breeze. Biatch, I'm just rolling down the street, smoking down, sipping on gin and juice. Laid back. With my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Rolling down the street, smoking down, sipping on gin and juice. Laid back. With my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Later on that day, my homie Dr. Dre came through with a gang to Tangle Ray and a fat ass Jake, some bubonic chronic that made me choke. This ain't no joke, I had to back up off of it and sit my cup down. Tangle Ray and chronic, yeah, up now, but it ain't no stopping. I'm still popping. Dre got some bitches from the city of Compton to serve me, not with a cherry on top. Cause when I bust my nut, I'm raising the boxing cock. Don't get upset, girl, that's just how it goes. I don't love you hoes, I'm out the dough, and I'll be rolling down the street, smoking window, sipping on gin and juice. Laid back. With my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Rolling down the street, smoking window, sipping on gin and juice. Laid back. With my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Rolling down the street, smoking window, sipping on gin and juice. Biatch. With my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Rolling down the street, smoking window, sipping on gin and juice. Biatch.
Yeah, it's your boy 2K Bentley. You are now tuned into Sapphire'S Soup du Jour. Have a good one, y'all.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my peers, putting songs in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom, explosion. Overpowering, over the competition. I'm towering, break it shot. When I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare. You better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition's paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out.
I like this.
To all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to place these lyrical douches in your bushes. Rock grooves and make moves with all the mommies. The back of the club, sipping my weight is where you find me. The back of the club, macking holes, my crew's behind me. Mad question asking, blunt passing, music lasting. But I just can't quit because one of these homies Biggie got to creep with, sleep with, keep the F a secret. Why not? Why blow up my spot? Cause we both got hot. Now check it. I got more Mac than Craig and in the bed. Believe me, sweetie, I got enough to feed the needy. No need to be greedy. I got mad friends with Benzes, see those father layers. True fucking players. Jump in the Rover and come over. Tell your friends jump in the GF3. I got the chronic by the truth. Throw your hands in the air if you's a true player. To the honeys getting money playing just like honeys. You gotta come up in your waist, please don't the place. Cause I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby. Straight up, honey, really, I'm asking. Most of these think they be macking, but they be acting. Who they attracting with that line? What's your name? What's your sign? Soon as he buy that wine, I just creep up from behind and ask you what your interests are. Who you be with? Things that make you smile. What numbers to dial? You gonna be here for a while? I'm gonna call my crew. You go call your crew. We can rendezvous at the bar around 2. Plans to leave, throw the keys to little C's. Pull the truck up front and roll up the next blunt so we can steam on the way to the telly. Go fill my belly. A T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape. Conversate for a few, cause in a few we gon' do what we came to do. Ain't that right, boo? Forget the telly, we just go to the crib and watch a movie in the jacuzzi. Smoke L's while you do it. Throw your hands in the air if you's a true player. To the honeys getting money playing just like dummies. You gotta come up in your waist, please don't stop the place. Cause I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby.
How you living, Biggie Small?
Imagining Benzes giving ends to my friends and it feels stupendous. Tremendous cream, $1 and a dream. Still tote gas strapped with infrared beams. Chopping O's, smoking line optimals, money holes and clothes, all
All a nigga
A foolish pleasure, whatever. I had to find the buried treasure. So grams I had to measure. However, living better now. Coochie sweater now. Drop top BMs. I'm the man, girlfriend.
honey, check it. Tell your friends to get with my friend, your friend. We could be friends. Shit, we could do this every weekend. That's right. Is that alright with you? Yeah. Keep banging.
Throw your hands in the air if you're a true player. When you call me Big Papa, to the honeys getting money playing like dummies. I love it when you call me Big Papa. You gotta come up in your waist, please don't the place. Cause I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby. Check it out. I'm shit. Puff Daddy, Biggie Small, Junior Mafia, represent, baby.
WHOT Hot 93.97, playing the newest hip hop and R&B mixed in with the music your parents used to f to.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around.
All right, we're back on a Friday morning. We're a full week into October already. And I'm sure you're making your plans for the Halloween time. Halloween's interesting to me. It's certainly taken on a different whole entity nowadays, though. Opportunists will find opportunity everywhere. But man, it is definitely an adult event as well. I don't think when I was a kid, the adults took to Halloween as much as we do now as kids, but I think as adults, but I think it's because as children, Halloween was amazing. We would get pillowcases filled with candy. There was kids everywhere out and about. I mean, you couldn't, from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you couldn't drive through a neighborhood. And nowadays, it's obviously a lot different for several reasons. I think we're less social. I think we're less social personally, and we've substituted that for email, texting, and other things. Not a bad thing, evolution, right? The world shrank because of automobiles and airplanes. Otherwise, we wouldn't, if it wasn't for airplanes, think about the world would be like. So let's go back in time going, wow, things were the way they were back then. We got it made now. And look at the problems we cause ourselves. I mean, we just go crazy. Here, I got to powder my face. We go crazy with all of these issues and all of these things. And it's like, we should be living immaculate lives. Man, like the forefathers, our founding fathers who put all this together for us, and you can say, oh, they're bad people or whatever. I don't care. I ain't talking about that. We've got a beautiful opportunity here to be who we want to be. And this is who we are. Period. Now, in our lives, we got that same choice. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Where you want to be when Jesus comes? Don't say gay. Remember the don't say gay law in Florida? And people were up in arms. And this is another one of those things where the news knows what they're doing. And they're making hot button issues, and they're putting out these jab lines, right, that incite you to pick a side. And then when you do, you alienate any loved one in that category or who is sympathetic to it. And then they feel the need to fight back. See, this is where we got to pull the reins back and go, I don't care what you think of me, period. But the don't say gay law, we've got to understand, and we talked about this, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more today because it's Friday, and we're making a play. We say gay. That's the name of this segment, right? We say gay because we are an LGBT. And it's not an LGBT show, but it does get pretty gay at times, right? No helmet to helmet contact, so can't be that bad. We're addressing issues of LGBT lifestyle on Friday for a topic, not the whole day or anything like that. Today I'm choosing transgender and the news coverage and everything locally here, Michigan. We've got Gretchen Whitmer versus Tudor Dixon for governor. Two females, right? Abortion opposites, different end of the spectrum. Tudor Dixon is the Republican who, and it doesn't matter if you know who they are. You don't have to educate yourself on them or anything like that. It's the message that. So Gretchen Whitmer is the incumbent, and she's got millions of dollars in her campaign fund. The other challenger, Tudor Dixon, is broke. She has very limited funds, and she chooses to use a commercial that says, and it shows a picture of a drag queen in a classroom, and it goes, Governor Whitmer wants a drag queen in every classroom. First of all, they'd probably teach your child more about acceptance and non-judgment than anybody, right? But it's not true. And I know that a lot of people are going to look at that, listen to that, and go, no, you missed the mark on this one. This is not an important issue to me. That's the only reason I bring it up. The campaigning of the LGBT weaponry, right? The African American people, the Black Lives Matter movement controversy we talked about with Kanye the other day, hot button issues, right? When you start talking about race, when you start talking about LGBT, when you start talking about immigration, they're hot button issues. And when you say the right way, you will incite anger and emotion. Right. And that's what this don't say gay law is. Whoever tagged it that really didn't allow the essence of what it is to sink in. Basically, in a nutshell, I'm not a lawyer. It's basically about our kindergartners through third graders being taught about transgender issues and sexual identity and gender identity. I'm transgender, and I think that is not the place for that. And I've said it before. I'll say it again as quick as I can. You deal with those on a case-by-case basis, right? When little Johnny comes up to you in second grade and says, teacher, I feel like I'm Jenny, then you deal with that issue. And you act like it's no big deal. Because why? Because it's not, right? We make the big deal about it. So the don't say gay law is about our kindergartners through third graders being taught anything about pronouns. Pronouns should be taught, but not in the realm of sexual identity to a kindergartner, second grader, third grader, first grader. That's the thing. So that is, I'm just giving you, we're not making this all serious, but this is why we're doing it. We're making a funny play on it. We say gay, we're going to talk about gay issues and stuff like that, but it's not going to be an overwhelming all day topics. But the trans issues, their politics, schools, children are raising our children now. It is something that is introduced to them through the media. Just talking about it. If your mom and dad are driving to work right now or driving you to school and you're listening, you're hearing us talk about this. Once kids hear about it, they go, what's that about? Right? So you have to be very careful. First of all, I'm very traditionalist. I'm making that up on my own of what I actually feel our schools should be teaching. I feel our schools should be teaching academics, English, arithmetic, history, but even then now it's more perspective than anything, but the academics. Yes, there are some moral lessons to be learned. Yes, there are elective classes like home ec, sex ed, stuff like that, gym, wood shop. Those are electives. You choose to educate yourself on those electives. World issues, social issues, but transgender issues in school are a moot point unless you're transgender. And if you're really, if we love everyone, if we're a Christian nation and we love everyone, which we're not a Christian nation, nor should we be. We're a peaceful nation. We should be a peaceful nation, and we're not. But to me, the issues are being used as weapons to gain voting, to sway sides, and it's not fair. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to the 9-year-old little boy who is a boy, who has no desire to be a girl, but is gay and is scared to death to say anything because dad makes fun of gays at the dinner table. And we don't think about those things, but we say, I love my child, my unconditional. What if they're gay, right? Then do you love them less? It's a dangerous thing. Like when my mother accepts me, she doesn't understand, but she worries about my safety, right? Imagine a child who is already vulnerable to the world, and now they have to worry about acceptance from within their own home, which is supposed to be sanctity. It's your sanctuary. It's your ghoul. You're safe there, right? If you ain't safe there, you ain't safe nowhere. So we need to think about all these things. Like people go, I don't want to. It's fine. I agree with you. Now, the sports, trans people in sports, is it right or is it wrong? It's not that big of a deal. And I know there are girls out there that are saying that they're losing spots, they're losing scholarships. I understand that. But you also have to understand that you don't know the biology of people as much as you think you do, unless you are a doctor and studied the human anatomy and biology. So it doesn't really matter what anybody is. What is that noise? It's like I got somebody eating pudding or something in the background. I can hear the bowl scraping or something. Oh, wait a minute. Bowl scraping. Anyway, so my point is we have to understand that the LGBT issues, first of all, it shouldn't even be an issue, right? The bathroom thing. Who cares? And the statistics would show you straight men are way more dangerous in a bathroom than any transgender person ever dreams of being. So that automatically, as soon as you say the bathroom issue is about safety of the children in there, you lose that battle with me anyway, because it means you don't know what you're talking about. And that's okay. Ignorance is okay. You don't know everything. But I'll tell you what, then don't speak on it, right? Because look into the statistics of it. No transgender people want to go pee next to your kid. We just want to go in there and go to the bathroom and be left alone like you do. It's pretty nasty in the bathroom. I don't understand people that go into the bathroom and talk on their phones. I don't understand people that go in there eating. I don't understand people that can bring food into the bathroom, but that's up to you. But people but the bathroom is not a sexual place to me. Like, find the person of my dreams, the hottest body in the world. We're not doing it in the bathroom stall. If that's the only place we have to go, we've lost in life, right? Can't afford a hotel room at 54 years old. And I'm not paying for it anyway, honey. You are, so there. But we get fired up. My point, we get fired up about things that really, truly are not a part of our lives. And people are getting fired up on social media and saying things that are hurtful to people they love that they don't really believe themselves, but they're fired up because of the emotion of it. They're fired up because of what they've been told by the media or social media, which is people that like media has a responsibility to provide facts and not well they don't have a legal responsibility, but they have a moral responsibility to not sway you on what you should think. And that's not social media, because social media is a free for all. It's us doing what we want without any kind of spectrum to like no laws, really. I mean, Facebook has some laws. You can't say anything they don't like or you're going to be banned. But other than that, nothing. If you say the popular things, you can be as hateful as you want. As long as it's the popular opinion, it's okay. And we're seeing it a lot. And people like, I want to move to Florida. And they've got a Republican that does not like me one bit. He wouldn't even take the time to interview with me. If I landed an interview with Governor Ron DeSantis, he would turn it down because of who I am. I mean, I ain't mad at him about it. I don't care. But that's the way it is. You know. So we sit there and we look at these. I talked about the ad, the political ad, and it's very political, and they're trying to both sides are trying to gain votes. We know that. That's what you do, right? President Joe Biden just pardoned all marijuana possession. Federal convictions for marijuana possession are pardoned. And the speculation is the timing of it. It's a good thing. But anything they do now, they speculate, well, he did it because he wanted to get votes. Well, could be. But don't they all want votes? That's why you're out there putting all these ads, spending millions of dollars on television ads to get elected to serve the public. Isn't that wrong? Isn't there something wrong with the ideology? I'm paying millions of dollars to be a public servant. We're being bamboozled big time. Big time. Where are we at? 8:09. We got plenty of time. We'll go to break when I say so. How's that? When it comes to the children, we're not done with the LGBT issue either, so just so you know that. When it comes to the children, they will tell you, just like anything, when it's time to discuss things. I will say this. If there is a transgender person in your group of friends, in your family, whether you agree or disagree, if there's a gay or bi or any other letter you want to add to it, non-binary, questioning, queer, whatever it is, you got to accept them. You got to allow them to be who they are. And that's just the way it is. So with the children, bringing it up to them, introducing it to them is going to make them question things. They may not be ready for that, right? I'm daring to say, having raised 4 kids of my own, that a kindergartner through 3rd grader does not understand unless they feel a certain kind of way. And I can promise you one thing. I can make a kindergartner say anything. Believe me. Believe me. And an interrogator could make a kindergartner say anything. Because you just got to learn how to make them word it right. You got to make them feel comfortable saying it, right? So sitting there having a conversation with kindergartners in school about pronouns, about gender identity, they're not going to understand what gender identity means. They don't understand what gender means. They don't understand what identity means, but they're going to come home and go, I'm a he, she. And your dad's going to flip the lid, throw the Parmesan cheese out the window. Not my boy. And then the family's destroyed. Or you could just go, so what? We don't care. So you're a pole smoker. It's okay. No biggie. Children will tell you when it's time. We don't need to introduce that to my opinion. My opinion. I could be completely wrong. Whatever. I don't care what. I could be wrong. Maybe you disagree. It should not be in our schools. You want to go to the bathroom? Go to the bathroom. I don't care. Go to the bathroom. People, you have to understand something. When you walk into a ladies' bathroom, there's no urinals. They don't sit next to each other and go, how's it going? Huh? How's it hanging? Huh? They don't do that. They go in the bathroom, they sit in the stall, they go to the bathroom, they get done, they wash their hands sometimes, and they leave. Now, guys, it's a social event, right? You're low-key checking out the other guys' Johnsons to see how big they are. So how do I compare? Why else would 12 guys stand at a trough peeing next to each other? You realize you're getting each other's pee all over you and you don't even care? But I'm the problem in the bathroom. Okay. You're peeing on his shoes, Jack. And he's peeing on yours. It's like a brotherhood. You're worried about me in the bathroom. I got blinders on. It stinks in there. It's a bunch of dirty ass. Ugh. Nope. Ugh.
Ah.
So we get fired up about things, though. And to stream. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
Oh, now I got to put my headphones in. God damn it. Hold on. Oh, God darn it. There we go. How we doing?
We're doing well. How are you doing?
Wrong ear. Now how we doing?
There's your ear.
All right.
Put it up there. Yeah.
So I don't know if you've been listening, but as we advertised, we're doing the Don't Say, We Say Gay segment right now, talking about trans gender issues. And
well, I heard you were peeing on someone's shoes, so stop it.
Yeah, well, you know. But it goes into raising our family the proper way.
Right.
Right. It goes into sitting at the dinner table, understanding what we're saying to our children. And you should have a belief system in your home. I believe that, right? There should be whatever religion you believe in or lack thereof should be practiced in the home, and the children should practice it until they're old enough to decide they don't want to, which means when they're 18.
Right.
Other than
which
that,
will probably happen too.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Right.
But when you sit there and you have these conversations at the dinner table, we really forget how much of a sponge kids are. And it can be good and it can be bad. And my biggest thing, and I said it earlier and I'm going to say it again, is the young child who feels a certain type of way is already confused and scared because on the playground, you make fun of gays. On the playground, you make fun of transgenders. On the playground, you make fun of anything that's not normal to you. Right? If somebody dresses different, you make fun of them. If they're too preppy, what a nerd. If they're too goth, look at you, devil worshiper, vampire. If you're too preppy, if you're too pretty and blonde and you got boobs at 13 years old, they go, oh, look at this, tramp. And so there's always the judgment. There's always that. When you go home, now you've got to deal with it at the dinner table.
Right.
Right. So it's important for us to know we don't know inside what other people are going through. So we can talk about we don't agree with this, we don't agree with that. That's one thing. But gay is not a choice, right? Transgender is not a choice. You feel it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just go, oh, wait, maybe. Like I would be shocked if you were Barb tomorrow. I'd be like, what? I didn't see that coming. But if you married a woman, I would not be surprised. I mean, I would be surprised, but I would not be surprised as compared to, you know what I'm saying?
I kind of.
It's
we all know a lot less about others than we think we do.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's something people have to understand too. The identity, the being gay was very taboo back years ago. Remember?
Oh, I remember.
Oh, and you had to hide it. And if you were open, you didn't get to live the normal life that everybody else got to live.
I don't know.
You know, and it's 2022.10, man. We need to get past that. If you don't like it, don't deal with it. But instilling it in our schools, instilling it in our children, instilling it in our politics is stupid. And one thing I do like, I like seeing Caitlyn Jenner as a spokesperson for Fox News. You wouldn't think they'd hire her.
No.
You would think they would not. You would think that they would be like, no, we can't. Nope. But they properly address her. They properly treat her right. They give her the respect to speak her mind, and that's what it's about. You don't have to like it. But for me, the "don't say gay" thing, it was unfair to name it that. That's why I'm saying we say gay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. We're not. I mean, we're not. You know,
it's a play on words.
Yeah, it's a play on words. But it's important. Today's an important issue. We're also going to have some lighter issues, but the transgender issue, people have to understand. Like me as an adult, I'm 54 years old. It is what it is. People can look and laugh or whatever. I don't care. But at 12 years old, at 16, I cared.
Right.
One laugh could really ruin me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we like to talk about, we don't know who we're standing next to. You could smile at somebody and save their life. It's true. And shutting your mouth could save their life.
That's
like not
equally as important. Yes.
Save their life. And it goes with anything. That's okay. So we're talking about LGBT. What if you're racist? What if you live in America and you do not like immigrations? You don't like Asians. You don't like Latinos. You don't like black people. You want to live in, Montana or somewhere. I don't know where the hell they have all just white people, right? Everybody stops with the banner, with the Star Spangled Banner comes on. Everybody stops what they're doing and turns around. Go there, but it's not the new America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? We talked about it Wednesday about Katanya Brown, the new Supreme. I hope I said her name right. The new Supreme Court justice.
Right.
Her parents, what they went through in the 50s, unbelievable. We can't fathom it.
Right.
It's not right in 2023 that a gay person, a trans person, a black person, an Asian has to feel some kind of way because they're who they are. It ain't my fault that I'm trans. It ain't your fault you're white. It isn't their fault they're born Asian. Embrace it. There's beauty in everything, right? Inner beauty. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I just, to me, we need to say, we don't care, right? Be who you want to be. But being out in society, getting enraged by these things, like these trigger headlines and everything. As soon as every gay person in America saw the "Don't Say Gay" law, they went, "Oh my God!"
Mm-hmm.
But it was done on purpose.
Right.
Read the law. Talk about it at the dinner table. You have a different conversation than you do on social media.
Sure.
Right? Face to face, we can sit down and get perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But through social media, we just get the information sent to us and we react. There's no rebuttal. There's no explanation. I read what you wrote. Now I'm pissed.
Now that's my license to go off and say whatever I want to say. No matter how wrong, rude, insensitive, everything it can be.
And the thing this is more about family talk, like the dad who's, the woman loving, couldn't imagine, he doesn't understand LGBT stuff, just doesn't understand it. There's nothing, I don't get it. It's stupid to me. It's not against God. You're not a man, all that stuff. It still doesn't give you the right to ruin your kid. And all you got to do is speak about it and say, I don't like this and I don't like that, when your kid's trying to figure out a way to come out.
Mm-hmm.
There's no coming out. You don't owe an explanation to anyone other than your partner
Mm-hmm.
of who you are and who you love. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So when we get there, we'll be fine. It's 2022.10, and we're still stuck in 1860. And if you think I'm wrong, go read the headlines and the issues from back then.
Mm-hmm.
Because the slaves have been freed, but the people are still oppressed, right? The technology. When Abraham Lincoln was around, they didn't even have electricity in all the houses. You didn't even have a car to drive around in. They went by train, horse buggy.
They're on 2 feet. Yeah.
They didn't have air conditioning. You lived in South Carolina in 1860. You didn't kick on the air in August, Jack, right? You sweat your balls off.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Now, we have all this technology. We have all this education. We have all this advancement. And we're still dealing with the same dumb stuff.
You can find it, there's bad. You can also find, good in some things, some progress in some things, but it seems like it doesn't matter what you talk about, or it doesn't matter where you go with the conversation. There's definitely negative things that still need to be addressed and improved on. And there's also some positivity and some, realism and some change that has developed over time. You talk about, the difference between life at age 12 and life at age 54 and beyond. You've lived a little, you've lived through a lot, you've learned some things, and hopefully you can share that not only just in speech, but also in the way you act, the way you show people where you've been and what's taken place over time. And
education comes through living life.
Yeah. And then if you're able to share some of that, if people aren't receptive to it or they're not open to it, that's them.
Mm-hmm.
But you put it out there, and at least it's something to be considered. It's something that wasn't out in the universe, their universe, perhaps the day before.
Amen. And I'll tell you something, Bob, you nailed it. If I had listened to my father, my life would have been completely different. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is. I'm happy now.
Yeah.
But that fateful day, I was 16 years old. Me and my dad sat in the living room or in the kitchen at the table, and I told him I wanted to move to Colorado. And he said, if you stay till you graduate, I'll pay for your airfare. And I said, okay. And he went up to take a shower. I packed my bag and left. Hitchhiked to Colorado from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it was a life-changing thing, and I regret it. But at the same time, I don't.
And you can do both. You can regret it and not regret it. You can have both. You can feel both sides. You can feel both ways for different reasons. It doesn't. So many things in life. It's not a clear-cut yes or no. It doesn't have to be. And most of the time, it's not. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it does make it confusing. And when you bring that into not only a room, but a whole society where you can feel both ways about something for different reasons, it's no wonder we're all in the mental mess that we are collectively. And I don't know how you ever really totally sort that out, except to be open to the fact that it's there and realize if somebody's talking a certain way or acting a certain way, they're not necessarily doing it out of anything other than they've been conditioned that way, or that's the life they've lived up to that point,
Sorry, I'm making sure we got a guest coming in today at 9 o'clock. A comedian, Cristobal Flores, joining us. So
this is going to be a good time.
We're not, I got a lot going on, but it is break time. We're going to break. When we come back, we're going to be. We've got. You don't know, but you got a task to do.
I do.
Yes. What would you do if? You're going to ask me, what would I do if, and you're going to come up with something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we're going to start doing that every Friday.
Okay.
Now, this I don't understand how things correlate sometimes. We're going to be talking when we come back about a guy who got a vasectomy because of climate change.
Duh.
I said it. Got a vasectomy because of
I heard
climate
it.
change. Only here on Sapphire's Soup du Jour. We're going to break. You're listening to Sapphire's Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. Keep it locked.
Yeah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is your captain with no name speaking, and I'm here to rock your world with a tale that will soon be classic about a woman you already know. No prostitute she, but the mayor of your brain.
We talked in the last segment, but we're not talking through this one, or I'm not. I'm going.
Our story begins in a schoolyard. A little girl skipping rope with her friends. A tisket, a tasket, no lunch in her basket. Your school books for the fight she would be in one day over this hoodie. She got beat for some clothes and a rep. With her chin up, she scolded, all your all's molded. When I'm rich on your neck, I will step. That step she did to the straight A's. Then college, the master degree. She hired the heifers that jumped her and made every one of them work for free. No, why? So, what if my sisters are trifling? They just don't know. She said, Mom,
Adam's Apple, where they know what time you're coming in, where you're sitting, what you're drinking, and what time you're going home. Find them on Facebook today. Hayloft Saloon and Adam's Apple.
Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. You're loving somebody else. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could.
All right, we're back on a Friday morning, just chilling, getting ready for the weekend. Can't believe it. October 7th already. My goodness. All right, so we got problems here. We lost Bob, but we've gained one, so not too bad. It's a wash overall. We got Cristobal Flores joining us on the radio and on the live stream here, so we're getting our cameras together as well. Welcome, Cristobal. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Let's see if we can't get the cameras working here so people can put a name with the face. Of course not. And we'll get Bob back here in a minute. So today has been a day where we kind of just been going back and forth between an LGBT topic. Whoa, I just hit the chair and went flying. And some other fun stuff. But now, once I find the camera angle that I want, this is hard work. There we go. It is bright for you right there. My goodness, look at how bright he is on the camera. Say hello.
Hey, guys, good morning.
There we go. All right.
Thank you for tuning in. Still waking up.
Yeah, you're not used to, well, you are used to being up at this time, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm usually
getting ready for bed.
Getting ready for bed, yeah. Sometimes going to the gym, but it doesn't always say do this, so rest is important.
Absolutely. Got to get your 3 hours of sleep every night, regardless.
3 to 5, yeah. That's all I need.
I usually get about 5.
That's what happens when you're immortal.
So we just listened to Coolio. You said you have a story about Coolio you'd like to share.
Yeah, guys. Wow. You know, it's quite an experience, as well as something I like to share with my audience. I met Coolio. This was probably, I'd say maybe 10, 15 years ago, give or take, maybe a little longer. Who knows? But I actually came across him because I was at Fairlane Town Center in Dearborn, and I was just walking through, and a couple girls noticed me. You know, I could be decent attractive at times. And she's like, hey, you know, we're going to be hanging out at this hotel. You know, you want to come swing by, or so, you know how the story goes. And it turns out it was one of R. Kelly's dancers. They were in town that week doing a concert. And so I was hanging in the hotel. I was talking to her a little bit. And the other girl's like, hey, you know, I don't know if Kelly's going to go with this or whatever. And I didn't know who she was talking about at the time, but yes, it was the infamous R. Kelly, who we all know of now. And there was a couple people sitting in the chairs, and this guy was very, very interesting, very unique in his own way. Black gentleman, had a hairstyle I never seen of before. Introduced myself. We started talking. He says, yeah, man, I'm Coolio. And he had a couple of his members of his group as well. And we started talking, and I was like, hey, you're going to come to the show? So I went to the show, put on a great hell of a performance. He was a solo act, even though he had 2 other members. And I fell in love with their music right away. Part of it's because they sampled a lot of urban legend music, like a lot of rap artists. And so I dug into that. But the other story was I got invited to another concert. We hung out. He comes out of the lobby, and I'll never forget, he was a short statured guy. And the thing about him is he carried this little, almost like a pet stuffed animal monkey. It was on his side hip because he used to wear overalls, wear them down or so. And I was like, you know, I grew up in Southwest Detroit. A lot of my friends' family are black. I grew up in a black urban community mixed with other races besides myself. And it was just a great experience. And, you know, after the concert, they invited me on. We were on the tour bus. And a personal story, we ended up sharing a joint together.
Oh, my goodness. And it was legal now, but it wasn't back then.
I don't think it was, but it was a great story. I got his autograph.
Nice.
Instagram, social media wasn't built really popular back then, so we didn't believe in taking pictures, but I got the autograph. I still got it to this day, so rest in peace, Coolio.
Yeah, rest in peace, and that's cool. You shared a joint with them.
Yes, I did.
I love it. That's awesome. I love it. So that's funny because you and I met by chance too. We were sitting. I was with friends. We were down in a pretty
Royal Oak.
Royal Oak, Michigan. It's a trendy spot. A lot of restaurants, a lot of activity going on and stuff like that. And we were sitting there having our lunch, and you and your significant other were sitting there.
That is correct, right behind back to back.
Yeah, and overheard a conversation we were having and said, I don't mean to butt in, but added, and I forget what we were talking about that made you chime in on it.
I don't know if it was comedy related or just something in general, but I love people.
After that, we just kind of
just networking and happened.
We became friends on social media
There you
that
go.
day. And then boom, it turned into, he said, I'm a comedian. And I said, well, I'm not funny, but I make jokes. And so now we got him on the show to share a little bit of his stuff.
And I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So I know you've been busy working. You've got a comedy group that you work with.
Yes, we are the Crack Jokers. There's anywhere between 15 to 20 of us. And for my urban audience, I'm actually a performer every Friday and Saturday at Starters off of Plymouth Road and Southfield Freeway. It's called Starters. Our show time is at 8 p.m. Doors open up at 7. There's a part that's a restaurant where you can eat, enjoy your company before coming to see our show. Tickets on Fridays and Saturdays are $20. Tony Roney is the founder and the creator of the Crack Jokers. I was hoping he was going to join me, but it turned out he just couldn't make it today. He's a very busy person with what we're doing with our shows, production, and just all what's going on. It's happening.
We could always arrange that to happen.
Yes, we can. Detroit comedy is back, everyone, just to let you know.
Hey, I couldn't do it. I mean, I have no problems talking on a microphone. I have no problems ad-libbing and even having a little bit of structured. But being a stand-up comedian has got to be one of the most, it's got to be like equivalent to golf in the entertainment world, where everybody can do it, but it's hard to be good at it. And it just interesting to me. I couldn't do it. What got you involved in stand-up comedy? What made you decide you wanted to get up there and put yourself through that abuse?
Yeah, it can be abuse at times. I love my audiences. You can bring the heckling. You can enjoy the show. It doesn't bother me. Part of it's just my upbringing. I grew up in Southwest Detroit between McGraw and 94. My mom and father. 2 other brothers, I was always the joke teller or putting pranks on my brothers and my schoolmates. I did some things that were really interesting and kind of inappropriate with the girls, but that's just how I was as a young child growing up. I was such a bad boy in Southwest Detroit, where I ended up getting put into Catholic school later down the road, because I would do some things that were a little bit more towards juvenile side. I guess that's a better way of saying it since we're on the air. And
you screwed up when you get put in Catholic school.
Yeah. So I went there for a few years. It structured me, it disciplined me a little bit, but I still did some bad things. One thing I would love to share is I had a classmate of mine, Kevin Jackson, I'll never forget him. We used to make spitballs. Basically what you do is you take the 2 ends out of your ballpoint pen, and that used to be our shooter.
Oh, yeah.
So we used to take the little paper, wad it up, wet it, and shoot them in the classroom. And unfortunately, we both got caught. And since we got caught, we had to make 500 spitballs.
Do you know why the big pen was the chosen device for a spittoon?
Yes, because that's the 2 ends that always came out easily.
And there's a hole on the side of it, remember?
Yes.
And that allowed for the airflow
Exactly.
to give you extra volume.
Exactly. But where I'm getting at with
more
this,
velocity.
where I'm getting at with the spitball shooter was we got caught. I had to do 500. And I said some inappropriate things when she counted them. She literally counted them with a pen
Hit
and
me
made
500
sure
what?
Mr. Flores made 500 spitballs.
Oh.
We literally had to tear the paper, wad it up, wet it, and she would count them, of course, after they dried.
I was going to say, hopefully you didn't do that after smoking a joint, because the cotton mouth would have kicked in.
Yeah, no, I didn't know about joints back then. I knew about candy cigarettes, the ones that you blew the smoke and it come out the other end.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I said some inappropriate things and I almost got expelled from that school. My classmates, Robert Sarna, Kevin Jackson, a few others, you know who you are. Hopefully you're tuning in.
Hope so.
So after that, I just joke telling. My father always said, you always had something smart to say. I was like, yep, that's
Make
me.
money doing it.
Yeah. And I grew up at a young age, adolescence. We didn't have a lot of entertainment growing up. Hell, I used to shoot buses as they went by in my street neighborhood in Detroit with rocks out of slingshot made out of coat hangers.
And we question why we're in the situation we are in the world today.
So as creative as I started becoming, I started hearing more and more about Red Fox, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Lenny Bruce, so many other comedians, of course, Eddie Murphy, and that's how I'm bringing my comedy. I don't believe really in censorship in comedy. However, I'll make this PG related because we got to keep it within FCC guidelines.
Yes, sir.
But when you come to my show, it's a whole different environment. I'm like a chameleon. I dress nice. I look nice. I look professional. However, I probably got one of the dirtiest mouths in the business.
It's funny too because when I met you that day eating lunch, and you told me you were a comedian, I did not see that. And I mean,
yeah,
you're a big guy. I thought you're a football
I
player.
used to play sports. I played basketball, baseball, track, and football. But I guess my calling from God wasn't, he didn't want me to play sports. I still entertain.
Make
It's a
people
whole
laugh.
different style.
Good.
I make people laugh. I make people cry. I make people spit out their drinks when they're listening to my material. Yeah, a lot of it's edgy. I tell people if you want clean comedy, go watch Disney Plus.
Amen there. See, now that brings me this question. How do you dance, or do you dance around touchy subject? I know that.
Oh, I touch every subject.
You joke about the LGBT community,
Yes.
and that's not a bad thing. See, some people are oversensitive. In our conversation before we went on the air, was you were talking about a black audience, a white audience,
Yes.
and how the difference is.
Yes,
and
there's
stuff.
an
And it's
entire
like-
difference.
And I said, white people are too uptight to enjoy comedy. Now they're looking for the next offensive thing.
And
I love a good tranny joke.
And I can bring that sometimes. I did my Jeffrey Dahmer joke. I mean,
I'll bet you
it's
people ate it
clean.
up.
Yes, it can be. It's a hot topic right now. The show's on Netflix. I just watched another episode yesterday. But, if you want me to name drop the joke real quick, I could do that. Try to make it clean as possible.
That's up to you.
You
long
you
as
want
it's
to put me
clean.
on the air, want to put me live, camera. As soon as I wake up, I'm ready to do this. It's always a different response to my audience. They look at me and be like, but he looks so nice on stage. He looks so nice on camera. I can't believe the words that are coming out of his mouth. And I'm like, comedy is something that we all touch base on. Yes, there is sensitive subjects. However, I'm that type of person that I believe in delivering just about any subject. And either my audience is going to accept it and enjoy it, or accept it and not like me. But I still get my point across.
You want to know something?
I like it. I can't, like, when it comes to comedy now, you mentioned Richard Pryor, you mentioned Red Fox, and you mentioned a couple of other guys that today I don't even know how they would be able to make it through. Don Rickles, insult comic.
Yes.
And people now get so offended by everything that you tap dance around it's a comic. It's like Kevin Hart. He got,
and I got a joke for him as well.
Yeah.
And I said that a couple of weeks ago. Make it long story short, Kevin Hart had a show here at LCA about a month and a half ago. And just a quick joke that I implemented, whether people think it's funny or not, I deliver it. I said, he's a known comic. He's a known movie star. By the way, I treat everyone the same. I don't care if you're an athlete, entertainer, musician. I'm going to treat you just like I am the same. How I met former President Barack Obama. So 50 Cent, so many others. And, for those naysayers, I always take pictures just in case people don't believe who you meet. You always got to prove them wrong. And that's how I am with my comedy material too. Go ahead and doubt me, and then I'm going to prove you wrong. And you're going to make yourself look foolish.
To me, it's just something I give credit because it's not easy.
No, it's not. You got to, in ways, have nerves of steel. Whether you're introvert or extrovert, you got to be able to bring it. And it don't matter on the time of the day of the week, what the weather is. I'll go inside, outside. I'll go to strip club, wherever I'm going to be, where my audience is. I'm going to definitely deliver. But to answer your subject, I don't want to get off of that. Yes, it is. You're basically the lone wolf. You're performing in front of people that you never met. There's people in the audience before I started really taking comedy seriously, where I would be one of those hecklers. I'd be like, okay, this guy isn't funny. I'm funnier than him. So, you got to be able to deliver it. I'm a quick-minded person. I got a quick tongue. And anybody who comes at me, I'm going to deliver as well. And sometimes it can be offensive.
Yeah. Well, that's funny though. And that's one thing, like, that's been forever at comedy shows. Don't sit in the front row.
Exactly. Because you will get picked on.
Because you're going to get picked
But you know what? To answer that, Sapphire, a lot of the comics, and you guys know who you are. I'm not pointing any names in particular, but some comics, they go off the audience and engage because they don't have their own material, which is okay at times.
Right.
Sometimes it's a way of breaking the ice. When my black audience, if I share my joke, I tell people as soon as I get on stage, they stereotype me. Oh, look, this is a white guy. Does he think he's funny? I'm like, you say whatever you want in your head, but I'm going to make you laugh, or I'm going to get my point across, and you're going to be like, wow, this guy is crazy.
Right.
Sometimes I'm mentally unstable, yes.
Yeah.
And I tell people,
all?
I said, I'm glad I'm not the only one here black. I guess that explains my other 3 inches. And I always get a crowd reaction. Hey, I kept it clean.
Yeah, it worked. I love it. It just, to me, listening to comics now, dancing around all the touchy subjects, and that's what's actually funny.
Exactly.
Is being able to sit there and make fun of people.
I make fun of myself the most. I pick on some people, you know who they are. A lot of people, yeah, they're sensitive. I don't know if you want to call them Karens or Dougs, but the thing I see, there's so much tragedy in our world, all over the United States, our nation. I mean, it's devastating what's happening in Florida,
Yeah.
Coral Gables, Punta Gorda, Naples, just to name a few communities in Florida. So I always condone what they're going through. I'm probably one of the few comics that have done this when my shows actually start. I believe in paying respect to those that have passed or perished or have lost someone, because we're all going through hell right now. If I can make you laugh or at least listen to my material and make you cringe or so, it's taking something off your mindset, almost like going to a movie theater for that quick moment or so. You know, and it's just, there's too many things happening. And yeah, I'm that type of person. They'll be like, well, this Cristobal Flores, he's completely different than what I've seen, like a Kevin Hart or a Robin Williams or a Billy Crystal. He's doing something I've never seen before, maybe like a Dave Chappelle. However, Eddie Murphy's coming back, and I would love to have the opportunity to work with him. I loved Eddie Murphy. You know, Raw Delirious.
Yes.
You know, he talks about his mama making a hamburger. He talks about, you know, being on the beach, Mandingo, and just swinging it for the ladies. You
Gus
know?
the Goody Goo Goo.
Exactly. You know, so many things. And, you know, rest in peace, Gene Wilder.
All of them almost.
Yeah,
almost
all
all
There's
of
too
them.
many
I
of them.
think
to
Richard
name.
Pryor's still
I was trying to
alive,
name
isn't he?
Gilbert Gottfried. I did a joke on him a while back just to pay respect and homage. And I actually do voice impressions as well. And he's
Okay.
one of them I worked with in the past, as well as I do comedy parodies. I wrote 5 songs, guys, and I do got that R. Kelly one. It's called I Believe I Didn't Lie, about his whole 30-year sentencing, and I perform it live for my audience.
Yeah. Oh, you're definitely out there, and you do parodies, you do the comedy, so it's something. I'm going to be getting to one of your shows. The problem is I get up at 3:30 in the morning.
I'll have tickets
So,
for you. You know, I'm kind of considered a triple threat. I've acted before. I've been on motion picture sets. George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez, most recently Hugh Jackman. I worked on Real Steel. Believe it or not, I was in Eminem's Lose Yourself video. That was over 23 years ago.
Nice.
I've met Marshall once or twice. Marshall, if you're watching, you're tuning in.
He
I want
always
to
listens.
collaborate.
He's one of our biggest fans.
That'd be nice. I want to collaborate with you on a song because, you know, comedians and rappers are entertainers. We all kind of intertwine. We have that sensibility not only for our audience, but just to work with each other. I give you that opportunity, and I'm going to prove you wrong.
Absolutely. And that's something like that's motivation. And even we just got back. This is our 3rd season here with the station, and we just started our new season. And we all, even though we're a team, we're all in competition because we all want the best ratings.
But you know what? Competition, yes. A radio station might be different.
It
Comedians,
breeds competition, but it also breeds camaraderie.
exactly. And since you mentioned competition, we are going to go with there. Mark Ridley's I'm Coming For You, October the 25th.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
believe his show is at 7:30. We're doing the Detroit to LA competition. I've been waiting for this for a while, so I'm definitely going to bring some material. I'm definitely going to shock and surprise my audience. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to deliver. And hopefully you do appreciate what I'm bringing, and I'll take it on to that semifinal round or possibly the championship, because I don't look at other comics as competition. I'm competition within myself.
Correct. Yeah. But there is that slight, it's not a bad competition, but you want to be the best. And in order to be the best, you got to beat everybody underneath you. But it's not about being the best. It's striving for your own self
Exactly.
excellence. And you're never going to gain perfection, but we strive for it.
And you know what? I learned that from my days of growing up playing sports. I instilled it in my young mind that I wanted to be. There wasn't no Jordan at the time. I grew up watching Rod Carew, Reggie
Right.
Jackson. I was
At the end of Hank Aaron's career.
exactly.
Yeah.
These guys could do it. Why can't I? And I
Absolutely.
went from a shorter height, and I started growing, and I'm 6'5" to this day. I definitely could have been playing pro ball, pro football or so, but like I said, you don't have any idea what you can control in this universe and what you can't control. It just wasn't my calling.
Right. Well, you know what? And that's the thing, a calling. We talk a lot on this show about that. I always talk about finding what you love and doing that. And if
Exactly.
you can get paid for that,
That's always a
happy
bonus.
life, baby.
However, being a thespian or a struggling artist, there's going to be times where you got to do what's called paying your dues before you get any dollars coming in.
Right.
It's been coming from there and there, here and there. It's definitely going to get better because I'm the motivator. I'm the person that's making it happen. I'm the one knocking down the doors, hustling on the streets, promoting our shows. And, I'm glad for the opportunity with Tony Roney because he has the same vision that I do.
Right.
And we're definitely growing. We got a production crew. We were just at House of Comedy, 80% sold out our first time. In the Detroit Entertainment District, we were going against Jack Harlow at the Fox Theater, and they had another performance at the State Theater. The Detroit Lions game just ended. Malcolm Rodriguez, if you're listening, I gave you tickets so you come my show. I'll give them to you again. Dan Campbell, I'll get tickets for you again. The Lions are struggling right now. It's their defense. They're
We
sucking
love
a
the
little.
Lions on this
Yes,
show.
but lately they've been sucking a little bit more than Jenna Jameson. I think I can say that. It's pretty clear.
I don't know anything that sucks that much, but hey.
Jenna, I watched you many times.
Oh, she's a proud sucker. No, we understand completely about that because bringing out these shows and competing with other seats, other venues,
Exactly.
and everything, it's invigorating.
Yes,
There's
it is.
something like you were saying earlier about standing up, having the nerve
Yes.
to stand there.
Yes.
But when you said, if it's them, why not me? That is so true. And if you're young out there listening, don't wait until you're my age or don't wait until you're 30. Believe in you now and make it happen because nobody knows what they're going to be when they're born. Right?
Exactly.
Aaron Judge just got the
62
American
home
League
runs,
record.
American League record. Now
He
he's
had
chased
no
that
idea
here.
when he was 6
Barry
years old.
Bonds.
He used to sit out there and dream of it too. He'd be out there playing with his kid friends, going bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, and you never know. You have to believe in yourself. So you being motivated and driven like that,
yes,
that's success in itself.
At times it is, yes. I just instill a lot of them. My mindset is a lot of people who influenced me as a child. My parents, I had a very strict disciplinarian father who was an immigrant from Mexico. And he says, if you want after something, you got to go after it. There's not a lot of people that are going to give you this stuff in the world. I'm that voice. I don't back down easily. I always had the never give up attitude, not only with my mindset when I weight train, which is usually 3-4 times a week. However, I got to get to the gym today. I haven't been there in 3 days.
Work out a little extra for me. The push-ups I do are Sherbert.
Yes, I work out my body as well as my mouth continuously. And that's the thing. You got to condition your mind as well as your body and also know how to reset because it gets very exhausting. And if you don't take time for yourself or so, it definitely exhaust you. I know what entertainers go through and why they take breaks. I mean, just look what happened to Carlos Santana a few months ago. He passed out at DTE.
Oh, yeah.
All about mental exhaustion.
Exhausted, yeah. Exhausted.
Now the Lions, they're going through an injury because a lot of those guys don't condition in the offseason. Dan, if you're listening, I could come train with you guys at your facility if you invite me.
He's a beast. The coach. You're talking about Dan. When he says Dan, he's talking about the coach of the Detroit
Dan
Lions.
Campbell. Thanks for signing my hat, by the way.
He's a big monster of a man. I love the guy.
Yes.
I mean, we talk about the Lions. This is a national show, so not everybody's a Lions fan, but everybody knows about the Lions. And man, are they entertaining to watch?
Yes, they are. I was there with my son watching the Washington, formerly known as the Redskins, now the Commanders. And they put up 22 points in the first half. And coming back halftime, the thing is about sports, you could be compassionate towards your opponent, but you have to have the no mercy attitude. What I mean by that is, there's going to be competition. When they see you're at your weak point, that's when they're going to attack. And if you're a boxer, if you know martial arts like me, you instill that in mind. You can't think about your opponent until you defeated them. Then you can show compassion, but you have to be willing, like Mike Tyson used to do. He would destroy his opponent. And that's the mindset you have to have. Because once you let down your guard, guess what? They're going to slip you with a jab. They're going to slip you with a right sweep hook. So never let down your guard. If I could share this with a younger audience, if you're thinking about contemplating being a comedian, an actor, believe in yourself. However, you are going to come across people that are going to doubt you, naysayers. My brothers, for instance, they doubted me for a while, and I had to prove them wrong. And when you have that mindset and you start sharing it with other people, they're going to be like, wow, this guy's different. He's built different, because people don't think like we do. And it's a very starving artist type business. I got a friend, Buddy Lev, shout out, that's in New York, and he's turned up the comedy scene. Younger guy, I share information with him when I can. In his 30s, I'm a little bit older than that, and I get inspiration from him or motivation. Even though I'm a little bit older in the game, I've been doing comedy for on and off about 11 years. I took a hiatus for a while because it's all about mental reset, mental exhaustion. And it's not just the audience. The audience is going to be there regardless. People are going to come and want to be entertained, or those ones shocked. And sometimes you just got to decompress for yourself, because I don't want to end up like those Hollywood people or whatever on TV, drug dose and whatever, losing my mind, because
Right.
it happens.
That's the stigma of America that we could talk about. A whole nother story is talking about once they do get that money and fame, what it does to you. And like we've said before on this show, Chris Farley,
Yes.
he would probably give
Rest
it
in peace,
all
Chris.
back just to have his life.
Yes.
He was a miserable, not
Robin
miserable,
Williams the same way.
not happy.
Happy, being able to entertain hundreds and hundreds and thousands of audience members, but not happy within yourself. You have to be happy within yourself. I don't know people's religion. You got to have a relationship with whatever God you believe in. And, it has to be within yourself, because if you're not happy within yourself, it doesn't reflect on a lot of people in that as well.
You know what today is?
Today is Friday. And
Today is National Inner Beauty Day.
There we go,
were talking
National Inner
about
Beauty
that.
Day.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Believing in yourself.
Always believe in yourself. Don't
seeing
let
the
nobody
beauty in
doubt you.
you.
Exactly.
But we always think of superficial beauty. How does my face look, my body shape, and all that? Beauty is
Within.
your essence,
Within.
who you are.
The people who always think about the outside and how the public sees you, that's a form of insecurity, which I truly believe in.
Mhm.
And you have to be able to work on yourself, have that inner peace, that calm, that tranquility within yourself. And believe it or not, you have an aura, that exuberance, and shares with other
I had an
people.
aura
So-
last night. Oh wait, that's the orgasm.
Oh my goodness! Wah, wah.
Whoops.
That was about as exciting as the show I watched yesterday at Fisher Theater.
Yeah, but and also today, National Body Language Day, and you, when you're on the stage, body language probably tells a lot about the mood of the place. I mean, laughter is one thing.
Yes,
but people looking at their phones.
That's okay. I got
arms
jokes for them.
crossed,
I
you
got
know,
jokes for
yeah.
them.
Oh, yeah.
I only interact with my audience if I think they're not paying attention, but if I want to do a quick laugh or a quick joke. I've seen one of the best shows that I did in my comedy career before and learned from others the best. Bernie Mac, rest in peace. I'm actually doing, since I'm name dropping that now, I'm going to go to a Bernie Mac experience show. I'm being invited at the Foundation Hotel in Detroit, WJZD Studio, October the 13th. I believe it's at 4 p.m. And that host is, I believe her name is Melanie. I can't remember. It's on social media right now, but I can name drop that later. So we're basically talking about our experiences with Bernie Mac. He had a book coming out. But, as far as heckling your audience, when you're at a national comedy show, Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, and Cedric the Entertainer were performing. It was at Joe Louis Arena. I went with on and off girlfriend at the time, before my wife. Hello, Catherine, if you're listening in. And, we were kind of about 20 rows from the back, and I always liked comedy. Bernie Mac is a whole different being, and I'm not saying I'm nowhere near his level. I hope to be, because it's a great challenge, and it would definitely be much respect to him. He grew up doing comedy in that, and I found out later in life that he started performing in the subways in Chicago, almost like the story of R. Kelly. He went wherever his audience is, wherever there's general public, he was there performing. And actually, my wife and I, we celebrate our 20th year anniversary in Chicago, and I seen a rapper performing. I told him, I said, do what you're going to do. I said, I'm a comic, and I said, I would love to come to the Chicago scene one day, but just do what you do. People are going to like you, or people are not going to like you. Guess what? Some attention is better than no attention. I got people in Florida hate me for my comedy right now. They're like, you think you're funny, you think your jokes are funny, you're all about gay jokes, putting down people, this and that. I said, no. And I said, I have gay friends. I go to the LGBT communities. So I'm not that person. Don't try to stereotype me. Don't say I'm racist. Don't say I'm against any other thing. Dave Chappelle, even though I love you. And, everybody's our audience.
The thing for me is stand up, like you said earlier. If you go to your show and
Yes.
see you in person,
Yes.
you're going to be a totally different personality than here, because you can't cuss on the air and everything.
Oh, of course, without a doubt.
I'm paying for. That's what we're paying for. That's what we want. If I go to a comedy show and you don't offend me at all, I doubt I'm even going to laugh.
You know what? I tell people,
Or offend
Sapphire,
somebody.
I'm glad you brought that up, because when a paid customer comes and sees a performer, and I'm calling out all you athletes, all you entertainers, all you musicians, whatever you are, you think you have an ego, I'm going to crush your ego, because we're all human beings. We all breathe, sex the same, sleep, scratch the same. You're not immortal. The only person immortal is the guy that you believe in. And, that ego is not going to bother me. People are like, well, you met Chris Rock, you met 50 Cent. They're the person making millions of dollars. I'm rich. I'm wealth in my own inner being. I don't have the physical money, but as long as I have it the other way, I can envision that one day it will happen regardless. And that's the way people got to look at things is it's always starts with a vision or an idea. And that's your $1 million question. If you have that, then you can get it. And you just got to manifest off of it.
Believe in you. That's the whole key. And, if you don't, nobody else will.
You know what? I'm on the streets of Detroit, not only promoting myself, but our family, the Crack Jokers. And I'm definitely glad to be a part of it. I was a solo comic for myself. It's a little bit of a struggle because you go to different rooms, whether it be white rooms or black rooms. And yes, I'm going to say it. There's a difference of audience attention.
Oh, sure.
And, me being from Southwest Detroit, I'm mixed with Dutch, German, Irish, French, Hispanic, Scottish, Irish. And some people think I'm Asian. And yeah, I had that Asian joke, but my wife is half Asian, so I got to respect her. So now I just say, good morning, Vietnam. That way it's not offending anyone. But my old style was definitely a lot harder than what you just heard. Like I said, I don't believe in censorship in comedy, even though it's 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm high energy. You see, I'm already awoke. At least physically, mentally, I'm still waking up. I don't drink coffee. This is natural. I take Zoloft from time to time. My therapist, if you're listening, I'm always welcoming you to my show. He's like, Cristobal, you're really a comic? I said, yes. I'm mentally unstable. I like bringing the funny, and that's just who I am. And go ahead and try to tear down my walls. Go ahead and throw arrows at me. Go ahead and stab me in the back. You wolf in sheep's clothing, you know who you are, which is the topic I just brought on my Facebook recently. And some comics are getting out there like, what do you mean by that? Why are you going scripture? Why are you going biblical? I said, because everybody you come across is not a friend, is not someone you can trust. And I'm that type of person. I don't have a lot of friends and I don't need them besides my Crack Joker family now. And we're all intertwined with each other. We share our thoughts, process, emotions, relationship information, and we're a family. And it's great to have it because not a lot of people do. I saw Dear Evan Hansen yesterday. If you never saw the musical production, it's a very depressing show. But if you're in town, go see it at Fisher Theater. I'm name dropping, but it's an excellent production. My wife is actually a musical theater person. And that's kind of who leaned me towards that. So we're both performers, even though we have regular jobs. And it's a story about a person who doesn't have any friends. And he lies about having friends. And he just goes through so much turmoil. And everybody who's listening, you can relate to it. A lot of people put on that false facade. And Eminem, you discussed it before in a lot of your songs. It's exhausting. Just be who you are. You don't really have to have people liking you. You love and like yourself. The other people are going to come and show it to you as well.
Amen.
Or if not, those people will just get out of your life.
People, yeah.
Because I don't need those in my life.
When you're faking it, you're attracting fake. When
Exactly.
you're authentic, you'll attract authentic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you're hardcore and you bring it real, that scares a lot of people. And that's the audience you really want to get away from it to begin with anyways. Because just like Judas, the wolf in sheep's clothing, it's all out there.
Oh, yeah. The ultimate betrayal right there.
And who's the fakest people that we know of? The Kardashians.
There's not a real bone. Well, their bones are real.
You know what? Who's funnier? I always said her and Pete Davidson. I said one was funny and the other one looked funny.
I was talking about earlier. We were talking about Kanye with buying a house right next door to Kim.
That sounds like not only a confused Christian, but someone who has a lot of insecurities.
He is the, I'm sure.
And Kanye, I don't care how rich you are.
We don't think of that when we think of our celebrities. And on Monday, we did a segment about celebrity mentors, athletes, celebrities who mentor our children, whether they want to be mentors or not. Antonio Brown, the former football player, perfect example of a bad example, what not to be. You're given all these opportunities as a young black man in America, and you squash every opportunity you have in the name of blaming other people, playing victim.
You know what? And since you brought that up, yeah, that's one thing. I don't know if the term's called gaslighting or not. People are afraid to hold themselves accountable. He was a great athlete. He actually went to Central Michigan, a wide receiver, one of my positions that I played for many years. I didn't get to the level that he did. I could have been the next Gronkowski. Who knows? Because I'm built like it, and I'm probably better than him. But he's got the pro career. He's got the Super Bowl rings where I don't. But in my mind, I still do. He's just going through a lot right now. And I blame what's called the CTE, the whole encephalopathy.
Yeah.
Yes, I am educated, even though I went to Detroit schools. Catherine, if you're listening. And, he's just really messed up right now. He's just very emotional. He's breaking down. I think he's trying to find himself once again. He's just going through a lot of turmoil right now.
And it's got to be tough, too, being at the top of your game and public figure and being a star. And then you always seek that attention, even though the people you don't seek it, you seek it. And
a perfect example, Aaron Hernandez, who passed away in prison.
Oh, that I didn't know. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and he is convicted. He was a tight end for the New England Patriots.
Yes, number I think 88. Not that it
88 or
matters.
something like that. And he ended up in prison for murdering his stepbrother or a family friend.
Family friend,
Yeah.
yes. He was a standout of his
And
high
when
school.
they did the autopsy on his brain, they said his brain was that of like a 150-year-old or something. So these guys that are playing pro sports, they're playing pro football, are getting banged around so bad that it's totally affecting them. So with Antonio Brown, that could be a factor.
And that's exactly what it is. It's taken a lot of hurtful impact. Me being a football athlete at the time, even though you do have padding inside your helmet, it's gelled all around. Some helmets are a little bit better designed these days.
Yeah,
but
let's
see.
Hitting your head on the ground.
Exactly, which is Tua Tagovailoa that just happened, the standout from Alabama with the Miami Dolphins. And, he just backpedaled. The one guy for the Bills pushed him. He fell on the back of his head, which is the less protection of the head.
Didn't even look that brutal.
No. And then he got up, and then what happened? He collapsed right there on the field.
Stand up. And now there's a neurologist who's saying, don't play again.
No,
put your helmet away. If you love your life.
Personally, I think his career might be done.
Should be.
I appreciate and respect him as an athlete, but they go through more abuse than a boxer.
Oh, yeah. Pro football players, they love the moment they're stars, but afterward, their life expectancy is not even 70.
Exactly. And I know a couple professional athletes myself. Shout out Malcolm Rodriguez, even though you didn't come to our Crack Joker show. And the guy's a stud. Number 44 with the Detroit Lions. Thanks for meeting me at Pro Zone and signing my son's necklace. I appreciate it. You'll get to our show. Detroit Lions, if you're listening, you're more than welcome to come. Will Harris, I know you, Savion Smith. We just got back Devin Funchess. I played not necessarily against Devin Funchess, but he went to Farmington Hills Harrison. When I played football, I was with Allen Park, Downriver School.
Okay,
we played against them in playoffs many, many years ago, and we didn't get that far. So I think Devin got that ring over us.
It's cool. All right, where are we at? 9:20. Oh, we got to take a break. All right, we're going to go to break real quick. We're going to play 2 songs, maybe 3. No, 2 songs. And then we're going to come back. We're going to finalize the conversation with Cristobal. We're going to be talking a little bit about this cat that got a vasectomy.
And I can relate.
But because of climate change, okay? So, people come up with all excuses. We'll be right back. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. Keep it locked.
the person wasn't paying attention because they were probably looking at their God's name in vain phone,
Right.
or playing with their radio instead of just driving, and the guy's life is no longer available or
For
existing
that.
because
For
of
that.
that. So I'm going to be out there being an advocate, holding up that sign, letting people know that this person was here and the person's dead on this corner because people don't pay attention. And I have a strong belief: stay off your phone when you drive.
Absolutely.
Because it's very dangerous.
Yep. But again, all it takes is 1 second to look down. You look back up, the brake lights are in front of you. You don't have time to stop. That's one thing. But when you got a pedestrian, a bicyclist
Exactly.
or something, life is too precious,
Yes.
and we just take so much for granted. Driving is the most dangerous thing we do every day.
Exactly. Anything that's mobile that has wheels is definitely a death hazard most of the times. And even though I see people on the roads and stuff, I am always watching and seeing if they're going to make a move before I decide to make a move, because I've come close a couple times and I walk my bike when I cross crosswalks.
Yeah.
But you just never know. And the person has the right to yell at you. It's like, I have the right of way. Pedestrians have the right of way, but I'm not going to challenge a bike
Correct,
over a
'cause
car
it
any
doesn't
day
matter if
because it's
you're
not going to
laying
matter.
there
You're going to
in
lose all the time. But I see every time in parking lots, people just don't pay attention. They have their earpods in or whatever and just walk in, thinking people aren't going to hit them. But guess what? Wake up. You will get hit.
It happens every day, everywhere in the world. I mean, most dangerous thing we do is drive a vehicle or be around people that are driving a vehicle. Because that's pretty dangerous too.
Exactly.
All right. I got a vasectomy because of climate change. That's one way to fight low ball warming.
You know what? I had a vasectomy too. That since we're going there, that's one of my jokes that I start off with. I say I no longer wear condoms. Free Willy, here I come.
I like Free Willy. I like every week, and it is the weekend, so I might encounter a Free Willy this weekend.
Yes.
So this guy says, I've always struggled to combine the idea of personal responsibility with the overwhelming need for human society to address the threat posed by climate change. How in the hell he decided to get his thing chopped up? Well, that's not what they do, but so they're sitting there now, and he meets a girl, right? And they fall in love. Now they're engaged, right? They're planning their future. Now it's not just me and my dog against the world anymore, he says. All of a sudden, I got to start thinking 10, 20 years ahead. Future, children, obvious thing to plan, right? You don't just have children.
Yeah.
Well, we do in America, but we're not supposed to, right? So all of a sudden, there's responsible decision-making going on, right? So when do we have kids? What do our careers look like with our kids? Who's responsible for staying home, raising them? How about we just get a dog?
You know what? Some of my comic friends are the crack jokers. We talk about those damn kids. F you and your damn kids. And I actually put my son on the spot a couple weeks ago. White, privileged, even though he's mixed with other things. And these kids take everything for granted these days. They have their iPhone, their tablets, everything's at their disposal. When I grew up in the 70s, that tells you kind of my age, that we didn't have these type of things. We did the old ball and basketball and whatever else we could find. And grew up in Detroit, we were impoverished growing up, and it was a lot harder than the kids out at hell. I didn't even know what Shelby Township was for years. I knew about it when I went to Four Bears Water Park years ago, that, hey, suburbs is different than the city that I grew up in. I used to be able to use the bathroom and see the Renaissance Center in the back of my window of my neighborhood. So you kids, if you're listening, or your parents, listen to them, because you have it easy compared to what we did, you know. And maybe you need to go back to that because you're playing with your damn Apple phones of the 14th century or whatever it is. Elon Musk, I blame a lot of this for you. You know, it's all about, you know, your capital dollars that you're wanting to gain or so, but you're destroying our society and our community at the same time.
And you would think with technology and advancements that we wouldn't be doing this, but the further we get back. But I don't understand how a vasectomy has to do
with climate change.
But we're going to get down to it.
Interesting.
Let me get rid of this band.
Hello, audience. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. So 38 years old now, this guy is, right? And he's trying to figure out, how am I going to have kids? But what the hell does this have to do with climate change, right? So he says, I'm trying to forecast stuff like how many feet of sea level rise or the extinction of key species are going to take place. The future is worse than we could imagine, according to him. So what did he say? No kids. we're not doing it at all. Did you know that he gave up? Okay, so you give up your 15 mile an hour, 15 mile per gallon pickup truck, right? Which he called the basic mascot for climate inaction. So he decided to ride his bicycle everywhere, right? Saving the planet 2.4 tons of carbon emissions a year.
Is this person a chemist or a scientist?
I'm not sure what he was, but he sure didn't get laid very much. Tons of carbon emissions annually, right? If you skip becoming a parent. So raising a kid somehow exerts 58 tons of carbon emissions every year.
By raising a kid?
Is that from extra gas or what? I don't understand it. There's too many humans on this planet.
Way too many. Some women should have just swallowed instead of just having offspring.
Could be dripping down mommy's leg or daddy's leg. No, right in front of me. Could have been swallowed. There are simply too many humans, right? Being told that putting electric cars on the road, solar panels on our roofs helps, but that involves buying more stuff, which is a terrible impact on the environment, no matter how green the image. Two people deciding to make fewer humans eliminates the entire cycle of consumption that would fuel the kid's life.
That's interesting.
I mean, this guy really thought about his vasectomy.
Maybe he wants to be on what's the newest show right now? Seth Meyers. SNL just ended. What other show?
World's Stupidest People.
You know what? Some people, the public is so effed up in the brain. I think a lot of them just do it for attention, just like these TikTokers or so. You're not famous. There's no such thing really as fame. You know, we're all human beings. I'm going to crush your ego if you think you do. And just be yourself. You know, the attention's going to come whether you like it or not, whether it's positive or negative. Just be yourself. Quit putting on this fake facade. That's what I love about Eminem. I support a lot of his music because he's one of the realest that's out there. You know, he'll tell people how it is. And, you know, he's the annoyed entertainer and I'm the annoyed comic. So, Em, if you're watching, that's why we got to collaborate together. We want to shock the world.
Yeah, that would be shocking.
It definitely will. I'll definitely bring it.
Definitely would. Hi, Bob. You still there?
Hey, I'm here. I'm back.
You haven't said a thing in an hour.
Well, no, I'm taking it all in, listening, enjoying. Great to have Cristobal here.
Thanks for having me, Bob.
Hey, great to have
you. Have a word of the day before we get out of here?
You know, I did, but we both had computer issues, and I lost my word of the day. Let's let Cristobal do a word of the day.
Completely.
My word of the day is basically just to close out of the dates of the shows we have coming up to get our general audience there.
Let us know where you're going to be.
All right, listeners, if you're listening, I want to give a shout out to Joshua Adams, a comic friend of mine. He was on HBO Hard Knocks with the Detroit Lions. He's doing a karaoke thing that costs $15. It's called Shit Ain't Sweet. It's at the Village, October the 14th. You can look it up at the date or reach me on social media. Starters tonight, 8 p.m. Tickets are $20 at the door. They have great food. We'll definitely bring the entertainment. Tony Roney, shout out. October the 14th, we're going to also be at Starters. October the 16th, Joy Manor in Westland. I could provide the time on that later on also. October the 13th is our next main show at the House of Comedy down the street from the Fox Theater at 7 and 9 p.m. That's the new happening spot that is basically the newer version of Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, in my opinion. It's a great place. Sits about 300 people. Great food. The stage is beautiful. I love the curtain. You know, it sits about 300 people. And I also want to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, Questionable Tees. You can get their Lions gear, their Tigers gear on their website. Questionable Tees, that's QUestionableTeez.com. And I'll give you my discount of 10%. You got to type in questionable, just like it's pronounced, the number 10. Questionable 10, and that will get you your 10% discount. Compliments of me and Questionable Tees.
Tell him Cristobal sent you. All right. Well, thanks for coming on today. It was an absolute pleasure having you on.
It was a pleasure having you. I appreciate your level of professionalism and your hospitality.
Thank you very
and
much.
I'm definitely going to be a listener of 93.97 Network.
Excellent. Yeah, we'd appreciate that. And we'll have you back on when we can. We didn't even get to finish the conversation, really, but time to get out of here for the day. So thanks for listening. And remember, opinions are a dime a dozen. Validation is for parking, and loyalty is not a word. It's a lifestyle. Life is too short to put your key to happiness in someone else's pocket.
I like
and in
that.
a world where we can be anything, be kind. We have no idea what a kind word or a friendly smile can do to impact someone's day, maybe even change their life forever. All right, we're out of here. Until Monday morning, I'm Sapphire Pates.
I'm just Bob.
Cristobal Flores.
All right, you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye. We're still live on the broadcast, but not on MCC.
When we're together,
I'm going to say my comedy parody, but
just sing a song and think about sunny happy travels to you. Tell me.
Cool.
All right.
Back-to-back podcast. Well, technically radio station.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That's the end of our broadcast. Thanks for watching. On behalf of myself, Cristobal, Just Bob, we'll see you Monday.
See ya.